This is RPMMORadio,
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
a podcast all about roleplay and MMORPGs.
I like what you got. Good job.
With your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Sib, Jazz, Sibh'Bae, and Kishmas.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Greetings and welcome everybody to RPMMORadio. Even you wee fatty in the back. Glad to see you managed to waddle your fat ass all the way over here. Jesus Christ. Again with the salad. This will be episode 35, Alt-aholics Anonymous. And of course, as always with me, is my crew, Jazz, Sib, and Sibh'Bae. How's everybody doing today?
Good on you, mate. I see you
Ah.
having a beat with it of the chair this night.
That's right. Kishmas will be around eventually, but he's on a whiskey run right now, so...
The bugger. Bless him for the whiskey run.
That's right. Somebody's got to go get it, you know. She...
I would join in with you guys' Irish accents, but I would totally screw it up.
I
I'd
can't.
be like,
What?
they'd be like, what the heck is wrong with her?
Sibh'Bae, I don't... What accent are they talking about? I don't even know.
I think they've got a wee bit ahead of us on the drinks there, lad.
Something I plan on catching up on, that's for sure.
The night is young, as it were.
That's right. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Getting an early start. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining us live at twitch.tv/RPMMORadio every Saturday at 7 Central Time. Some other time for all you other coasts. I don't really feel like doing the math. You can figure it out. You live there.
And you don't want me doing it.
Then I sure as heck don't want Sib to do it because then there'll be a fight and we'll end up 15 hours ahead. And it'll be like that guy Laza who's off in Australia will be that far ahead of time. We don't talk math in this
I'm just trying to make
family.
sure we go visit him sometime.
at the way we do math, that would be a distinct possibility. So everybody, appreciate you again. You can always listen to us as a podcast over on iTunes, which of course you can. Throw us a review. We've still only got the one, and I mean, come on, guys, come on. Don't you like us? Don't you love us? If you'd love us, you'd go to iTunes. I mean,
Way to shame rate us.
unless you don't, use iTunes, which I kind of understand. I have it on my computer. What's wrong? Are you too good? Are you too good? It's only one of the biggest companies in the world. Anyway, we'd appreciate it. So also on Android, Podbean, and all that good stuff. We also want to give a special thanks and shout out, of course, to all of our Patreon donors, which you can get to at patreon.com/RPMMORadio, something I almost always forget to say as a website. And of course, a special thanks to our raid boss level folks, that guy Laza and Dutch Roof Bob, all of which are probably already drunk.
Here's to you, lads.
That's right. Especially that guy Laza. I mean, that's one thing. I was talking with him earlier. He's in Australia. We only have one day where it's socially acceptable to day drink. They have no qualms about it at all down there, and it's awesome.
Well, that's the truth.
Boy, they could be knackered at any time of the day, and you're like, yeah, that's all right. All right, I'll go do your driving. So, love you, Laza. You know it. All right. So, with that, we're going to actually have a special fun thing to do. We're going to actually do it's going to be through the entirety of the episode. So, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and because podcasting while drunk, what could possibly go wrong? After I do this explanation, every time someone says either RP or roleplay, that person has to take a drink. How could that possibly go wrong on a podcast that's about both of those things? See what I did there? I didn't actually say it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you want to play along, if you want, and you got a drink of your own, if you don't, go get one. We'll wait.
Get the whiskey or your spirit of choice ready.
That's right. We're not actually going to wait. We're just going to tell them we're waiting. That way they miss part of the show. That's perfect. Pick a host you like, and if they say the magic words, you can drink with them. if you don't want to have to go to the hospital, probably don't pick me because I say things all the time. I'd go with someone like Sib.
What? What are we talking about?
Nothing. Hey,
Nothing
I
at all.
was chatting in the Twitch channel.
what was it? What was it you were doing earlier today, Sib? When in the game when you were talking with people, what were you doing? Is it anything specific? Any when
I
you
don't
pretend to
remember.
be another person with other people? What was that?
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I was running around and I was typing in words to people and hoping they respond. Is that the right answer? Did I get that right?
I love you.
What do I win?
Perfect.
What do I win?
You win nothing. You win absolutely.
Oh, is it because I didn't say
Absolutely
role
nothing.
playing?
There we go.
That's what you're supposed to do. And now you have to drink.
Take a shot.
Somebody was questioning my choice of
Shaming
drink,
you
so-
for the mics. Yes, but
Yeah.
Mike's is pretty good. Oops.
It's lemon. Or it's mango. It's not lemonade.
Yeah. You're all right. Yeah. I, however, for those with the camera, I've actually got this. Hey, good bottle of Tullamore Dew. They got Irish stuff. That's right. Because I've never tried it, and I've always wanted to, and this seemed like a really good excuse to buy a nearly $40 bottle of whiskey. What?
Patron for the win.
Patreon. You're right. Patreon.com/RPMMORadio.
Oh, look at roll that one in.
RPMMORadio.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice
Nice.
roll
There's two of
in.
them. Hold on. There's one.
What are you supposed to be doing? Sipping?
Well, if I take a full-on drink right now of straight whiskey twice in a row, I'm already gonna be down and out. So I got to take it a little slow because
Oh, okay.
believe me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it a lot. Like for example, what have we been doing in RP?
Take a shot.
That one I could take more of because I've mixed it in with stuff. Ah, it's good. Little, what is that? Whiskey sour. So, all right. So what have we been doing? How about, I'm going to go with Jazz.
Jazz
I haven't
is
picked her first in a while because she always
haven't.
whined. She's the big whiner. Look at her with her, Jesus Christ, is there ever anything she won't complain about? I mean, good Lord. The second she gets on to the second she gets off of the game, she's always like, this and that and the other. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
What have you been doing, woman? I don't see a meal on the table, so I know you sure as hell haven't been cooking, so there better be a roleplay story involved.
I've been role-playing. I've been building the roleplay on my Sully character
Hold
as
that
well.
thought. Go take a shot, Jazz.
Oh, yes.
Take a drink. Well, that didn't take long.
Oh, no, it didn't.
No.
I can drink all y'all under the table, so
I
I'm
bet
not
you-
worried about that.
You can me. It
Well,
doesn't
I
take
don't
long
know.
for me. That's why I'm like, okay,
I
go
do
consume.
quite a bit of vodka and whiskey every night, so I do pretty good.
Not me. I'm not a heavy drinker.
One
As
of
you
these
guys
days-
already seen on the show.
One of these
Not
days,
me.
Ashen, we shall put her to the test.
That's right. We will. Yeah,
You are
we're gonna have to
welcome to try.
gonna have
That
to-
will be fun.
all get together and do a show, like see if we can't do something special one time, like do a show live all together. That'd be awesome.
Okay, Jazz has got to finish her
All right.
stories.
Tell us what you've been in doing that thing that involves pretending to be other people.
I have been developing Sully's story, her backstory, and her front story. I've been doing more. God damn it! I've been doing
Throw the comments.
more
The mind runs wild.
story
It really did.
development on Sully than I have in a while. I also have worked on Kia and her being a guild leader and being around more to develop her story. So that has been, I've also been working on her in-game because I'm trying to max out everything on her. So that's what I do when I'm free.
Free from what?
when I'm not role playing and
Ah!
role play. God damn it!
Sim! Wow, way to go! High five, baby, from across the room.
Oh.
Seb
There.
busting out the piracy.
See, it's always bad because she's the one you least. You're on guard for me and Strafe. You're not on guard for
Yes,
Sim.
I wasn't on guard
And that,
for Sib at all.
that is your tactical error.
Yeah,
She
definitely.
is a vicious person.
I'm the camper. I will say that. When I play war games, I'm the camper. Everybody
Mr.
hates
Fear
me.
says, drunk a take.
Oh.
All right. So, yeah, that sounds good. I'm glad to hear that you have been doing things that involve the thing that we enjoy.
Mhm.
How about you, Strafe? What have you been doing last week?
Well,
Silence.
as far as pretending to be another person on an online experience, I've been mostly vacant because, I had family in town, so I hadn't been on. But Friday night, I went to a tavern with several tunes, enjoyed some character development with some other people that pretend to be other people.
You suck.
And later on in the Telvanni gathering, a certain cat-like humanoid that I was playing
Well, I think you could say Khajiit. That's okay.
got his rank up amongst the other players pretending to be other
Oh,
people.
so that was you that... I heard someone got promoted, so that was your character?
And it started a
Yeah.
fight. Yes,
Oh.
it was a big brouhaha. Jazz's character that she pretends to play almost
Is
cut
a
a head off.
Telvanni master. Yeah. She almost cut somebody's head off. So it was fun. She was pretty pissed.
I'll let her tell that part, but that's pretty much. I hadn't
Yeah.
had much to do, but that was fun to incite almost a beheading.
Yeah.
Sully is very much about being fair. So if somebody does the work, they deserve the recognition. And another character was basically saying he was worthless because he was a Khajiit, which isn't unusual, but it was an Altmer.
And not
to
entirely
her-
untrue, right?
She wouldn't get mad if it had been a Dunmer as much as she would have if it was an Altmer, because to her, the Altmer and the Khajiit share the same rank
Yeah.
in Dunmary world. So for an Altmer to stand there and talk about a Khajiit was just like so hypocrite. I can't even speak.
Hypocritical?
Hypocritical. Thank you. That it just infuriated her, and I rolled a 9. and
yeah.
I was like,
You and your rolls. You and your rolls.
So she took her sword out and she set it in the ground, pointed at the ground in her hand, and nobody reacted except for like 2 people noticed that she had done that. And then as soon as things calmed down, she just simply took a step forward and whipped the sword right under his chin. And they had a conversation with their eyes locked.
Well, that's the way it goes.
And he rolled with it. I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
Because he went along with it. I asked him beforehand if it was okay, and he said go for it. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to show that side of her.
Yeah, which one of those things you have to wait for. You can't just, and when you force it, it's always it feels forced.
Stilted. Yeah, it doesn't feel real.
It goes from like that right there. That's nice and smooth. You waited for the opportunity to present itself to show that side of your character. Because when you don't do that and you force the issue, that's when you're an edgelord. When you make the things happen, even though it's like, what do you mean this salt is not salty enough? You know?
Yeah.
I demanded more pepper on this.
Yeah.
Or what was that, the Stewie? So help me. But no sprinkles. So help me God, for every sprinkle there is on that, I shall kill you.
The only other thing was Trath gave permission to another tune to date his cousin, and that was fun.
Yes, that was fun too, to
Ooh.
watch because
Okay,
I was not
who's-
on
who's
that
dating?
character.
It would be
Anya.
Kel seeking Ari's hand to a little stroll around Grathwood.
Ah.
In a proper fashion, in a proper way. It's the way you go
Yes.
about it. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And she's very, very innocent, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do 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 do. I don't know. That's the Bonnet movie songs that come to my
I
head.
was like, Stop. Just stop. You've got voices, but you got no music.
Da 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 da.
See? There you go.
Blasey.
All right, Sib, what have you got?
Not a lot. I'm just now getting back in the game. Let's see, did I RP at all this week?
Sarah!
Take a drink.
Oh my gosh! Dang it!
It's easy. It's easy.
Thanks for pointing it out, Jazz.
Nice, Jazz.
No problem, sis.
5-state high five.
I'm laughing.
Oh, it's gonna be a long night.
It is.
My drink.
Make the music more okay, cops, whatever you say. No, I'm just kidding. No, I understand. I understand the music is horrible, but I'm here to torture you, so that's why I did it.
But
So,
I don't think I did a lot this week.
We had the thing last night.
Yes, I did attend the service of the tribunal, which I've been under a lot of stress because our son.
Yeah,
went into
yesterday
surgery.
was a lot of fun.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Tense,
Yes.
isn't it? I had to
We'll
do
go
it.
into that a little later. We'll explain that why.
But
Yeah.
I did go to the servants of the tribunal, the sermon last night, and one of, our very own Kishmas had an event, and he did something bad to his character, and now my
Without the
character
approval of his in-character wife, which,
Yeah.
oh man, I actually, he actually sent me a tell during that. I have to tell this real quick, Sim. He sent me a tell during that saying, oh, I think he might be in trouble. I was like, dude, I hope he doesn't like sex, because by the time he ever gets any again, he's going to forget to have how to spelled it.
True.
He is in so much trouble.
But it was a lot of fun. And like I said, my character is very unhappy about the whole thing because Kishmas's character, Raj, and Nathala, his in-game wife, which we've had him on, her on the show, she looks at them kind of like her parents. She really likes the relationship and sees them as the perfect couple. So it was hard on my character not to take it. And she's just mad, and she stormed out of the kitchen area and was going to go kill some stuff. So.
After talking about the people,
Yeah.
you still got to talk.
Yeah, I
do some
RP'd
role
for a
play
little bit.
beforehand.
Man.
I did it.
Thank you. You saved me because I almost did it too.
Take a shot, you wanker.
You got a bell too.
Everybody's got a bell. Round it up by the end of the show. It'll just be bell talk.
We won't be able to talk. We'll just be going.
Hey, why is this? I don't
What's
remember
that
making.
bell?
I don't remember making double of our outline. Does anybody else? No, just kidding. It's not nearly that bad. Yeah.
Mr. Fear, the cute ones. He
Yeah.
said, "Is there a sleeping bag on the floor for everyone to pass out in? Because there's going to be passing."
There might be.
There
There
might
might
be. There very well might be. So you got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I'm hoping this week I get back into it, and I'm ready to RP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
What was that?
I knew it when you started laughing, Jazz.
Jazz, that bell's insufferable, but I kind of love it.
I kind of love it. Yeah, kind of like it. I wish I had a kazoo to go with it. I just wish I had a kazoo.
Kazoo period.
Okay, so I did about the same thing. Like last night, the thing with Raj was probably the one that stood out the most because he had asked Tarvala and said, "I'm going to need you tonight." That's his manly gruff voice. Tarvala, I'm going to need you tonight. I don't think he meant it the way it sounded though.
And she
but
said, "How
Yeah.
so, dear
Yeah.
Lord?"
But he what he was doing, he'll probably explain it, have him explain it. He's actually on his way home right now, so he'll probably join us here in about another 10, 15 minutes. But there's something in a book, the Black Handbook of something or other that the ordinators in the temple has, and there's a spell that basically it brainwashes people into like the light of the three, like it just soaks them in that and just takes away their kind of will to, not agree with it. And even though he was already done, he's already with the three, he wanted to know he needed to know more about it. So he had it cast on himself is what happened. But he had two people hold him down and tie him down, and Tarvala was there to make sure that nobody interfered with it, because once it started, interfering with it would be bad, because it already turned out bad as it was. But interfering it with would have been worse. Hey, little feller.
He waves darts out. Oh,
halfling?
God.
Yeah, bloody
Speaking of
halflings.
halflings.
Right.
That halfling's allowed.
Yeah, he'll allow it because he doesn't have hair on his feet, so.
Yeah, he
He's
might.
Not a bird. Yeah, he might. Yeah, depends, I guess. So that was fun, but Tarvala was really super pissed at him because she had given his word, and she's basically blindly loyal to him. You know, she'd do almost anything he said and without question, and she did it without question. But since if she had known that was what it was going to be, she probably would have just tried to beat the crap out of him right there and knock some sense into him. So now, with how badly it went, because apparently he seems to have lost the last 20 years of his life, including the rank, his wife, and his child, and the memory of all that. So he's in a world of shit. So everyone's kind of pissed at him and worried at him at the same time, which is a weird dichotomy. We have no idea what he's after or what he's going for. So it'll be interesting to see where it all leads. But I can't remember. I don't remember what we did on Monday for the ordination training. It was a long week. The other part was yesterday we got to spend 7 hours at the hospital. Our son had elbow surgery, and it went successfully. But he had a tendon taken out of his knee and put into his arm because he plays baseball. And apparently what happened was there was a bone growth, and one of his tendons in his elbow slipped, but it got hooked on that growth. So it couldn't slip back into place, and that was what was causing the pain and the stretching. So they had to file that down. Everything went great, but he's basically, immobilized. He can get around with the knee because they only took a tendon out of there, but his elbow is locked down because they apparently have to drill holes, and they just kind of like granny knot it back in there. Drill holes in the bone. Yeah. But he's such a talented kid when it comes to, I give him a lot of crap for his gaming, but he's a really talented kid at baseball. And so it'll be worth it because it was this or he never played again. Because there was just there was no in between, especially with that bone growth. It never would have replaced. And because of that, somebody was a complete and utter wreck yesterday.
I can't help it.
No, it's your baby. I understood. I know people were giving you junk for it, but I understood, and I was worried too. But you never want to. The real disappointing part, though, I will say, is he's not funny when he's under the influence of anesthesia. We didn't get jack out of that kid. He just became more kind of quiet, and he doesn't have that kind of silly side to him that you see in some of those characters.
He's a quiet kid to start with, and it was hilarious because the nurse, she goes, you get all kinds of people coming out of anesthesia. And she's like, him? Nothing. She goes, I can't even get a read on him, how he's feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how he is normally.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yep,
have fun.
all the time.
Yeah,
that's our
live
life.
with that.
So, yeah. I want to get into, before we do our advertisement, I want to do one thing. It's not exactly related to role play, but it was a story.
Drink.
All right.
Take a shot.
We're going to be carrying the show by the time he's done tonight.
Yeah.
What do you mean by the time? You guys don't carry the show already? I mean, come on, be honest. Nobody's coming here to listen to me. They like you all.
We're just waiting for the hostile takeover.
But it came out a while back, but I only recently saw this. And apparently it's just more proof of why halflings are just awful.
Oh, no.
And it goes to their cousins, the Munchkins, which apparently were molesting Judy Garland on the set of Wizard of Oz. That's right.
Really?
Yeah. It's part of the Me Too thing, I guess, but this came out like last year, so that was pre-Me Too. But because I think the Me Too thing's going on now, it popped back up, and that's why I heard it. And I just used it as more proof of why they were awful. But this is according to her husband, who, the Judy and I, My Life with Judy Garland. But
Uh-huh.
he alleged several cast members touched his former wife inappropriately during the production of the 1939 movie. So he said they would make Judy's life miserable on set, putting their hands under her dress. The men were 40 or more years old. That was the claim and stuff like that. So this is just more proof that
Yikes.
munchkins and halflings are terrible, terrible people. There's also the reports that, and he says they thought they could get away with it because they're so small. Sounds exactly like a halfling. So yeah, I'm just saying the facts here. They were little drunks. They got smashed every night, and they picked up. Okay, this one I don't get. The actress, according to the actress, they were little drunks. They got smashed every night, and they picked them up in butterfly nets. Is that a thing that we do with little people?
What?
I don't have any
When they
idea.
get drunk, we just scoop them up with giant butterfly nets. Like, all right, let's get them to the pokey now.
That's weird.
Don't have a
Right.
clue on that one.
I'm not touching that one, bro. Not at all.
No,
I
not
don't
even
get it
close.
either. Yeah, I don't know. But for the counterpoint, because, all joking aside, one actress, Margaret Pellegrini, who portrayed one of the Munchkins in the classic film, she was the last one. I think she's 97 years old when she had said this, but she said there were a lot of them who liked to go out and have a few drinks, but nothing got out of hand. Everyone was having a good time, enjoying themselves, and there was no rowdiness or anything like that. And their stories were very upsetting. But I don't know. I mean, of course she has to say that, but some of it was saying it because they were so, when you've seen The Wizard of Oz, how many of the Munchkins were there?
Yeah.
So that was like the biggest gathering of people their size that, they'd ever been around, all understanding the way they had to live. Especially, remember, this is 1939. This isn't modern day. It wasn't exactly, like, oh, we accept everybody. It was like, get away from me. Shouldn't you be in a castle with a jingly bell hat somewhere? That kind of thing.
Yes.
But I'm just proving Munchkins, like their halfling cousins, are bad people.
Please direct all hate mail to Ash and Phoenix at
Right.
the massively multiplayer
and to
game
any-
experience.
and to
When
any
people
of
pretend
our
to be other
little
people.
people, midget, munchkin people, listeners out there, you're very tiny.
My God.
I don't have any point. I'm just, pointing out the obvious.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just saying. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what we have for an advertisement today. I'm going to guess, not just because I wrote it, that it's probably got something to do with alcohol. But Sibh'Bae, I was thinking of you the entire time I was writing this.
I love you, dude.
I know. You're going to appreciate it if you haven't already read it. So,
Excellent.
without further ado, here is Tumpy Iron Toe. Told you. Tumpy Iron Toe here with Tumpy Tonics Brewery. Looking for a few nutty brews that unparches the mouth and fills the belly with fire? Look no further than Tumpy's Tonic. Our fine brew isn't like others. No. We make ours fresh when you bring us the ingredients. All I need is a flask of water and a Keola nut from an unassuming isle in the Ocean of Tears, with a 4-story cyclops guarding the dock that'll murder ye as soon as you pull up. Survive that and return the hundreds of leagues to me back in Caladim, and I'll instantly hand you a brew that's got more nuts than you got, the more brew I give. Something I've been drinking the tonic. It's the perfect money-making scheme, except for the part where I don't charge anything. Also, apparently, there's some lazy sot that'll give you a fine dwarven wire for one of me tonics that's used in some fancy bow or another. Pah! So come on down and see me, Tumpy Iron Toad, here at the brewery. You bring your nuts. I'll come with the juice. Yeah, I miss Tumpy.
He was a classy dwarf.
He is a classy dwarf.
That was awful.
Yeah, I remember doing that quest. That's why I had to do that one.
Yep.
That damn Cyclops that was glitched and would kill everybody the second they came to the dock there.
Yes, I remember that. It's awful.
That was good stuff. Good stuff. So, all right, let's go ahead. Let's see if we got Kishmas. Just
Hey.
in time.
Yay!
We're just getting ready to hit the main topic, Kishmas. How's it going, man?
Going on, guys?
How's work?
Oh, work was shit, but I'm here now.
All right, yeah. Figured.
Hey, you got
Sounds
your
good.
drink?
You got your drink? You got your drinking ready? Yeah.
I got my, tonic water. Just tonic, no
water.
gin.
Your Tumpy's
And then-
tonic.
Absolutely.
That's
And
right. Nothing like a fine dwarven tonic.
So what have you been doing this week in game?
I'm sorry?
What have you been doing this week in game?
Oh, lots of fun stuff. Well, last night was an interesting night. Had a failed spell happen to my main character, Rajir. So he momentarily lost all of his memories for the past 20 years. Turned to a
It was
giant,
only momentary.
momentary. Exactly.
See, everyone else in the war area was just hoping that it would be permanent and that we were all going to get promotions.
Too bad.
Okay, actually, everyone was saying the opposite, but still, you don't need to know that.
Yeah. It was kind of clunky too because I planned to have after the sermon, we were gonna do something else like a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but everyone followed me. Everyone followed me upstairs. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta do this now.
Yeah,
So I had to
well, see,
improvise.
Tarvala did because you had told her that. I don't know why everyone else was.
I don't know.
I was like, I didn't tell
I
anybody.
expected less people.
Yeah.
I did advertise it on the message of the day, so it's kind of my fault.
Oh, okay, yeah. So everyone
I still
afterwards.
think as much people would actually come.
They were
Like,
looking for that
we
thing, you do to
also-
pretend to be another character, or what's it called?
We also forgot about a story that's happening in the guild right now having to do with a heretic. We also forgot that there was an anti-magical ward in the Abbey, so it's like, oh, great. Now we have to pretend we put that down first. It's like, oh, my God. But it all worked out in the end.
Yeah,
It was a
wasn't too
little
bad.
clunky. Next time, I'll probably make sure it's not on like a night that's really busy.
Yeah. Well, and you know how, like, right after the sermons and stuff, everybody's there right after the sermon, and that's why you had. It was funny. It was just you had a train of like 10 people following you. They were just expecting
Like-
something.
They were wanting
Why?
to do the story with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I plan on making it was a public event.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect that many people. I thought
Right.
people were going to, sermon then dip.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Everyone was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun in that thing that you did last
Yeah.
night.
That event.
That thing that
That what kind of event was that?
Yeah, what's it called when people were hanging out pretending to be other people?
No comment.
Listen,
Listen, I'm
no fun.
21. I know how to read.
yeah.
He's got drinking games
We've
down
also-
pat.
also-
We've already I think every one of us
Hi,
has
my name
slipped
is
up once.
Kitchens, and I'm not an alt-aholic.
No,
Mm.
Kish, you and me are the only ones who have not fallen prey to the rules tonight.
Yeah, Straw's managed to avoid it dexterously. See, I'm not that
Yes.
drunk yet. I could still say dexterously.
This
With a-
water
with a
tastes
hint
good.
of-
Dexterously.
Dexterity.
But so yeah, we were just getting ready to hit the main topic and
Fantastic. So technically, I'm not late. Wink, wink.
No. No.
no, but you did miss the part where Munchkins molested people, and that's why the halflings are all so bad.
Oh, genocide. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So alting. Jazz, this is going to
Woo!
be about you and Sib mostly because you two have a serious problem. All right.
I think it's a gender thing.
I'm
I don't
going to
know.
hold
Get
on. Guys, all right. Fellas, you guys ready for this now? All right.
I'm always ready.
I know we didn't talk about this, girls, but this is a safe place now here for you. We're here for you. We just gathered you here today to let you know how your alt-aholism is hurting us and affecting those around you. Now, we're not here to judge you. Okay, we're not I mean, we are, but we're not going
Yeah.
to at this particular moment.
Listen, if I had a webcam, you'd see tears going down my face. I just want you to know that it hurts everyone.
Big salty
Mhm.
ones, probably.
We need to
Big
cue
salty,
the
big
emotional
blobs.
music.
And what do we do with these alts? I forgot.
Delete.
Mhm.
I actually don't know, but what it just hurts us. it hurts us to never know who you are going to be that day. I mean, I understand as women, you already are inflicted with multiple personalities just according to your gender. And that this is a way of, I assume, playing that out to its obvious conclusion. Guys, I'm kind of running out of things to pull out of my ass here, so anyone want to step in, that's fine. I'm trying to think of more stereotypes to be insulting, but I'm running out.
Not all
I've
of
got
us can
nothing.
play a girl as good as you do, my dear.
That is true. I am very effeminate. I am also working on the chesticles myself. One day at a time, one cheeseburger at a time.
Fantastic.
Before you know it, I won't need you.
Ashton, I'm unsure what to call you when you make the full transformation, but I'm sure I will support any choice you make.
I think it will be. I will be known as Michelle.
Michelle.
That's what my mom used to call me when my hair got even remotely long as a kid. You look like a Michelle now. You're a sexist, and how dare you assume my gender, mother? This was the 80s. That wasn't a thing. So anyway, alts in Alt-aholics. Alt-aholics. That's a really hard word to say quickly. It's basically having many characters in the, I'm just going to say it, role play. Mostly because I want to drink.
Okay.
I was thirsty. So it's basically it's a fun way of saying somebody that has a lot of alts, like Jazz has always had. How many was it in EverQuest, Jazz?
23.
There you go.
What the
See,
hell?
that's not a problem whatsoever.
What the hell was the character slot limit?
She had more than one account.
I had 2 accounts.
Multiple accounts.
Yes.
Wow.
I had 12 accounts with 13 slots. I mean,
Wow.
2 accounts with 13 slots.
12 accounts with 13 slots.
No.
I wasn't really good at math, but it worked out.
Shush. I had 2 accounts with 13 slots and 12 characters in each account.
What are you, quintuple box?
Double box. Yeah,
Oh my
She
God.
did dual box, yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could level them together too because
Oh
we
my
had
God.
follow, which we don't have in this game. But I would just simply have my one tune follow the other tune, and then we would go do quests, and I would just tab between them to do quests and stuff, and I would level them both at the same time. It was fantastic fun, and it was challenging. It was a great deal of fun.
Hey, click that on there too, babe. The oven on. It's hot in here. Sorry. It's hot in here because we were cooking dinner, and it did not go the way we had hoped it would when we pulled it out 15 minutes before the show. There were still chunks of ice in the middle.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, only after an hour and a half in the oven. So much for 90 minutes, like it said.
That's why you need to do it on high for 2 hours and then turn it down. What are you cooking again?
I have no idea. It came from
Well, what is it?
It came from Schwann's. It was in a box. I don't know.
What kind of meat is it?
I don't know. Beef?
Well, if it's beef, then yeah, an hour and a half to 2 hours on high, like about 400, and then you turn it down to 250, 275, and let it cook for a couple.
Our oven goes up to like 550 degrees.
420 is where it should be, and then you turn it down to 275 and cook it for another 2 hours, and usually that's enough.
Now, this has been Cooking with Jazz.
Jazz, can you cook me a meal, please?
Right. The two guys are like, can you come cook for me? I haven't had a hot meal that didn't come from something with a golden arch on it in years. No, I know that's not true because Sibh'Bae does a lot of camping and he cooks over an open fire. So
I do.
I can't really say that. So anyway, so alt-aholism affects roughly about 50% of players. Also completely unrelated, 87% of all statistics are entirely made up on the spot. So those 50% of players, usually ones that have a certain role while they're playing.
Nice try. I think that counts.
No, they weren't together.
You spaced it out.
I was spaced out. That counts.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. It's
It totally counts.
No.
one word.
No, it's got to be one word.
No,
So yeah.
no.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I say BS.
It's on
But
a
you can't-
technicality.
Let's ask the people on Twitch.
The only way it would have counted if
Does it
Jazz
count?
would ring her bell. She clearly did not ring the bell, so clearly it
right.
was not, it did
Yeah,
not count.
it's too
Does
late
does
now.
it count? No, it's not too late. It's never
No, it's
too late.
So,
Always too late.
why do people roll up so many characters? Are they lonely, pathetic losers with no job and too much time on
Yes.
their hands? Or are they people with ideas and they just like to explore different character arcs, stories, and personalities?
That one. I like that one.
I like the first one.
Just, so the divide here is people that don't have a lot of alts versus people that do have a lot of alts.
Exactly.
I will say I've never been one to. I've
Okay,
never
we
really
now.
been good at alts.
I got to cut in right here.
Mhm.
We now have a census on the Twitch.
Yeah,
and it
no,
counts.
those.
It counts.
Yeah,
counts.
yeah. Well, the thing is, they don't count.
No,
So if they
Our
don't
peeps-
count,
Our peeps count.
no,
So you
no,
guys-
especially that one, the Razor's Edge. That one definitely doesn't
Okay,
count.
let's all boo.
Clearly, she did not ring the bell. Oh, crap, you ring the bell.
Yeah, there's
My
a
ears.
60-second rule.
Actually, I was pretty sure that Sid was the one that just said the word.
Yeah, she did.
What?
You
Okay.
said the R word.
Such a dirty word.
Yeah, Sib, what was it that I had said?
Sib, I shall take this moment to remind you she did not ring the bell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I also want to say if anybody has, oh, Razor's Edge, I love you.
Don't tell him I just say that to everybody.
Oh.
It's a good thing there's no microphone nearby, otherwise everyone would hear everything I speak directly into it, regardless if I put my hand up to my cheek or not. So anybody that actually wants to call in about the subject tonight, or any other subject really, of course you can do that at rpmmoradio.com/Discord. I know I'm going to have to drink, but it's the only way I can say the website. Just put yourself in the caller waiting room, and we will, of course, get to you and hear what you have to say. So going back to that, yeah, you did cheer a whole $1, Mr. Fear, and we do appreciate that. We do appreciate it. It's 100 bits. It's actually, technically, that's not dollars. It's just bits.
Bits?
Because I don't know why they had to switch that. Apparently, it was something to do with legal ramifications in other countries that if you donated money like that, it couldn't be money. So they're like, what if we do it as bits? Which is weird. Anyway, that's a Twitch thing. So yeah, I've never been one for a lot. I mean, Jazz knows. I mean, Xanis for how long was literally the only character. I had a few extras now and then that I tried to branch out. It lasts a week, maybe a couple days, and I never touched them again.
I mean, it's kind of, I'm a one character guy. Though all my characters have their stories behind them, I just completely focus on one character. My first character, Nord, lasted like 3 months. No, 3 months? I'd say 6 months before I started really focusing on Regier. Because Regier was my alt at first.
And that was your first, that one you were talking about.
Yeah.
That was that first one you said you were doing real derpy with the Fusro Daw and
Real,
all that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Derping it up.
We don't talk about my DC days, all right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the bridge, I guess, because I'll have like a handful, 4 or 5 tunes that I'll alt between, but nothing like Jazz. She's kind of legendary when it comes to alts.
She has been. It is awe-inspiring. It really is.
Because you get tired. You get tired of playing the Uber, whatever he is, and you want to play something else. So in my case, in EQ2, I'm going to play a big, fat, annoying troll, and he was amazing.
Yeah, and you really only, and when you brought him out, it was kind of situational too. Like when there was big, serious stuff going out, you kind of left him off to the side.
Yeah.
Depending on the people involved, I guess, because some of them you still brought him out. It's like, you know what? These people deserve to be trolled.
When the guild hall was under siege, he was in the basement watching his prison and eating, going, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah. He was, if I remember right, wasn't he the prison guard?
He was the prison warden, yes.
Warden,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, Gormal was the prison warden,
I thought so.
and he kept everybody in line.
Yeah, he
and
was, even when he
managed-
wasn't there, he was he NPC'd kind of. He was one of the few characters that were NPC'd that were also played by somebody.
And when the guild hall was totally destroyed, they had to dig him out. And once they dug him out, they're like, Gormal, you all right? He's like, hey, what y'all talking about? I'm doing fine. We're playing dice down here.
Yeah. I'm a troll. It was a cave. What do you want? But yeah, I think like right now for me, I mean, I've got Kenix and I've got Tarvala. That right there is the most alts I have ever had ongoing at the same time. 2.
Without counting your bad guys you roll.
Right. Well, and even those, they were very temporary. I don't count NPC. Like I've had a few other even in ESO, I've had a few throwaways that they're there and they're meant to be defeated. It's okay if they get killed, whatever. But and even the Watcher thing with Xanis, that was actually still technically Xanis. It was just used as a projection kind of thing with his body. So it's
Oh, how I love the Watcher.
yeah. I'd love
Especially
to
when Ren made a dirty deal with him.
Yeah, that was fun. But so, I mean, I noticed Jazz, like now, I mean, when you had all those alts, that was also when you were having your health problems and you were home, 16, 18 hours a day and able to play. So you had, like the loser part was, I mean, I guess it was a joke, I suppose. I mean, I guess you still did things. But you had a shit ton of time on your hands. I mean, you still took care of the kids.
I had 18 hours a day that I was
you
doing
did the
stuff
kids and blah, 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 whatever.
I still got up and took care of the kids and cleaned the house and stuff
your
like that.
legal requirements as a guardian.
Yes.
But you had a lot more time on your hands. So you were able to actually, cultivate a lot of those. And even then, not all of those were actually people you really played all that much. So it really is. I mean, I see some people, man, it's just insane. I can't keep track of who their actual main is. And like, if it wasn't for ESO's, at name, I wouldn't know who half the people are.
Yeah.
They're switching so often. But in things like EverQuest and other games, man, it's like, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm like, again? Really?
I will say it's nice.
Oh, good.
Especially if you need a time to hide, it's nice to get away from folks that know who you are.
I miss that. I miss being able to just make a character because, Vodka was extremely stressful to play. And I needed alts to hide on. And I did. And I had a lot of fun that way in the game, like you said, because I had extra time on my hands. And no one wants to play the psycho, Darth Vader type dark elf all the time. So it was nice to have a break. I mean, even Tilder had an alt or two that he hit. So most of us that played high-stress characters had at least one alt that we would play on the side.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way you do it too, isn't it, Stray? Like, I know, because even in ESO, you've got quite a few, but they kind of all seem to get equal playtime with you as well.
I'm trying to spread out the time.
Right.
As I did lose a big chunk of RP on my main, then I'm like, well, let me develop these other characters just in case that happens again. And maybe it's defense mechanism, but sometimes it's nice to get into the mind of somebody else. Sometimes I get tired of playing the proper high elf.
Right.
So, well, let's go play this dirty Imperial soldier. He's fun. Yeah,
or somebody that's, I mean, let's be, you especially, you've got a great sense of humor, like you did with Gormal and stuff like that. So playing the, proper high elf of the Thurston Howell the Third all the time, I know you're just like me. You're like, man, I would love to, someone says something like, God, I wish I was on another character. I could really, really crack a joke right here.
Yeah,
but
totally.
This guy went and did it. Did I? Doggone it. Somebody in the chat said I said it, but apparently everybody missed it.
I missed it too. I didn't even hear the bell, but I'll go ahead.
I'll just take, because I'm gonna take Arathel's word for it, because they were on the ones earlier that were on the side of that didn't count. So if they're saying now that counted, oh, not me? Who was it? Oh, it wasn't me.
Who?
I'm still gonna take a drink anyway, because I want one. But who? Okay, you're gonna. Okay, so who was it? You're gonna have to tell us who it was, because apparently we all missed it. Was it Sibh'Bae?
Sibh'Bae.
Was it him? Was it? Did you finally have to take a drink?
Did you say the dirty word, Sibh'Bae?
I said nothing. I
thinks
reject
it was
anything.
Sibh'Bae. She thinks it was you.
Thinking and knowing.
Have you now, or have you ever? Were you now, or have you ever been a member of the the party that does that thing that we like to do?
The world of pretend theater,
That's
notwithstanding, I do not recall saying these words.
Man. If you go and call waiting and you spam RP, that means, damn it, you have to drink. Thanks for making me have to read what you have to say to Truth, Bob. You suck.
And I would like to say that until I got the second account because I had Eli, or the original was Kanan, playing on a different server. And So I got the second account so I could do that and still be on Vaca if I was needed. But I was actually, doing that thing that we do on another character. And then it just kind of snowballed. And I started rolling characters to fit in with storylines, but I didn't level them. So I only had like 2 or 3 on each account initially. And then my husband and the gentleman that plays Quintos and one other person started getting me involved in leveling. And I decided that I wanted to have one of everything so that I could practice and learn about all the different classes. Well, that's how I ended up with 23. Because they were all different classes, all different races. There wasn't any repeats. And each one was a different class. And I had 11, 12. I had 11 at the end. I had 11.
She had to collect them all.
Yes, I had to collect them all at that point.
I actually like that thing you said earlier too, Sibh'Bae, where you said how
The thing?
Yeah, well, to one thing they said that you had said it when you were talking about equal that thing between alts. So that's when they said you claim. That's when they're claiming.
That is when you said it. Now that I think about it, you did.
Fine. I will bow to the mob.
Chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear. Chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear.
Cue the bloody bell.
It's off a show. If you guys can't get that, then...
All right, here comes the shot.
Somebody get that, please. Chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear.
Sorry, you're completely on your own on that.
It was an 80s show.
I'm waiting. I mean, if you're going to say it, because clearly nobody has...
No, I want to see if somebody gets it first.
I don't have any idea.
But anyway, back to what you were saying, Sibh'Bae. Like, the reason you had started doing the other ones is because the RP on one, okay, I got it, had dried up. So you that was a good, that was what made you start doing other ones, was to help. Hold on. Okay, that didn't count because an ice cube got like stuck in my teeth. That's better. So when you had
pretend theater show on the Kenosian side of EQ2 dried up overnight. Like, everybody decided to go to Freeport. I didn't get the memo until someone that was one of my adversaries said, "Oh yeah, dude, we're all over here."
Yeah. Sorry. There we go.
You're good. Are you all right?
I was like trying not to like choke on my own spit. It's a thing that happens when you get old, when you reach my age.
I wouldn't know yet.
Mm-hmm. Choke you.
Soon, young one, you will be 22.
That's right.
Exactly next month.
But so I mean, that's a really good that's one reason some people kind of do that, I think, is because like that, we all know that when doing that sometimes things can go poorly, especially if you're doing that thing that we like to do. Man, this is really, really hard. Who thought of this stupid idea?
You did.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I'm
this
brilliant.
Is your fault.
So as far as alts go, then I always had my Wood Elf Ranger, and I brought him in for cameos and stuff because there was no community over there anymore.
Yeah, and so and then that makes sense, and like where you're even at currently in ESO, if something happens on one character, you can always switch over. You got a handful of others, and eventually you can try to go swing back to that one and pull them out if you were having something with another individual that, say, left or something like that, and you were just trying to give them some time to come back, or whatever it may be. That's one good reason to have a few alts like that. But so so what's the downside? And we're not talking about like for me, I have two characters. One's a main, one's an alt. Kishmas, I know you're pretty much just on Roger. I know you've got a few others. I've seen you play on them.
The thing with me is that they all have stories, but I just can't get into like leveling them because I beat the game once. I've pretty much done every faction, but it's just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you have the same problem I do with a lot of games. You can't play through it once you've played through it. Again,
I did have a Red Guard I played, like minorly, but I never really got into the stuff.
Right. Yeah, you just and I've heard, isn't that the faction that everyone says the storyline's kind of yeah, or is that the?
Yeah.
I think that's the one.
Plus the DC community is kind of
Go on.
yeah. you can't get me, man. You can't get me.
Are you saying you'd like to have Harley Quinn's hammer smash them all?
I would,
I
especially
agree.
especially those in Stormhaven.
Yes.
Although, also, I love you guys. Love you.
Hey, you're allowed your own opinions. That's why we have that thing at the end.
Yes, of course.
It's
All
not
right,
the
you know
gospel
what?
truth.
You all suck. And okay, never mind.
What you do is bad, and you should feel bad.
I never feel bad anymore.
Well, like
no heart.
I have max characters in this game, multiple max characters, but
Of course you do, Jazz.
oh yes, because I
Raise
enjoy
your hand if
playing
you're
different
shocked,
classes.
everybody. Okay,
Yes.
no hands. No hands at all.
But I only have one character that's doing all the quests in the game, and all my rest of my alts that will all eventually be max. I'm just doing what I need to do in order to get them as high as they need to get for them to be max and for me to enjoy the class. And I've done that in every game that I've been in, is that I have one of each. But eventually I get to where I have characters, like I would say out of the 23, half of them were just low-level characters. So that I was never
they were
going to level.
strictly for.
Yeah, they're
that
just
thing.
RP, and they aren't supposed to be
they're for
awesome.
What? They're what, Jess?
Oh, God, shut up. God damn it.
Ha.
I'm almost out of
you
wine.
salty wench.
I'm almost out of wine, and then you guys are just going to have to pretend. I'll drink water instead.
You know what?
Isn't that what we do every day anyway?
Just
That's
do the
true.
classy thing and have one of your kids go get you a refill.
No, I can have one glass of wine a day, and that is all I'm having.
And you're
And then
having
go
it
down
in,
the store.
in right about an
Get
hour.
Mommy her teeth.
But I'm going to have the whole thing in an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. You should have
That-
just made the exception. You should have known you're just gonna have to bring the entire bottle. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
Or if you're like my mom, the box.
The box.
Hey, that box stuff is good. It's not bad at
Classy,
all.
bro. Classy.
Hey, it really does. The box is just to hold the bag upright. Really, it really is wine in a bag, like the medieval Vikings used to have. Instead of a water skin, it's a plastic water skin. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. So, what's the downside of having so many characters? There's a few things I've come up with is, without proper time given, one or all can suffer and never fully develop or transition past that, original idea that you had when you came up with the character. Because when you're constantly flipping between the characters, they don't make any connections with other players because you're just never there long enough.
It's true.
It takes
True.
time to build connections and build,
Community.
Case
in point, last night I was on Trajan doing the pretend art of theater, and there were some people came in and said, "I have no idea who you are," and he's like, "Dude, you're kidding me, right? I live with the guild leader. You have to see me in here making snide remarks at some point." But it's true. A lot of people don't see your tunes. Like some of the common folks will see them. But if you have tunes that play infrequently, they'll show up and they have no idea who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had that before.
yeah, and I'm sure we've all it's as pretty much all of us here have been a leader or officer of one kind or another. I know we all know those characters that come in and they're like, they have all these big proclamations and it's like, oh, that's gonna be neat, and then like a week later, it's a brand new character. Like, hey, I need another invite for this one now too. It's like, and this one's gonna be this, and this, and it's sometimes you gotta lock down an idea and stick with it.
Because you stay in the guild you're in for one account, and you have 5 guilds you can join. I
Right.
think that's one of the plus sides of alts in this game. Now, I don't
I was
speak
gonna
for
say that.
Alt-aholics because I'm not one myself. I'm actually kind of like, I don't think I can really do anything unless I truly get bored of my character.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having 5 guild slots available for you, then having different alts that you play for is kind of good. but sometimes you'll lose track of each other's stories, and then you'll be like, oh crap, I forgot what I did last night in Pretend World.
As to your point, Kishmas and Ashen, if you guys remember Star Wars Galaxies, you only had one character unless you bought another account. So it made it simple. You couldn't really alt unless you bought that second account.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with Kishmas. The guild thing in ESO, that if you have different guilds and you don't want the same character in all the different guilds, then it's nice to have, alt.
Yeah, because then you can actually, especially when it comes to...
Because I have 2 guilds I play in mainly, Alano and Servants of the Tribunal. And I have 2 completely different characters, and one does not associate with the other guild, and the other one does not associate with, So it's kind of nice to have that.
Yeah.
And I said play, not the dirty R-word.
You're fine.
Jazz, I think is when 2 boxing came in, and I've done it, but you've been really masterful at it because you've had both your characters on the screen before, and you were able to develop all kinds of made-up theater that established it for everyone, and they visually saw you there. So I think that helped out when you're running multiple tunes.
And it's important also to admit that I was actually doing that a lot more than people thought I was. Because I had alts no one knew. And so I would go to a bar event in one bar on one tune and be in the guild handling guild events on the other tune and just tab back and forth.
It helps also when you don't trust someone to play your tune's character.
Yes.
You kind of have an idea for your character, and if you 2-box it, you can put them on auto-follow. Yeah. You can then develop that story without having someone else play it and flub it up for you.
Right.
God, that's why that also brings in the child or kid stuff when you have a kid for your character and they grow up or they're grown up, or you decide to have, I have this pre-existing kid, and you trust someone to play the character, and then they fuck it up for you. And you're like, well, this sucks. Never mind, get retcon it.
Yeah. And you have to at that point, and that's really hard to do when you trust somebody that you shouldn't have, and then realizing that in the aftermath is
I will reveal this right now. I have a second ESO account. So
no.
Can you 2-box ESO, or does it have to be on separate computers?
I can, yeah. I have a boss computer. What do you think me for?
No, that's what I'm asking. Because a lot of games won't let you. So
one's on Steam, one's I pre-ordered when it came out.
And so because they're different like that, you can still play them?
I can. Oh, you just
come get me, come get me.
Ring the bell.
Get me.
Dun, dun,
oh crap.
dun.
I got logged out. I think I might be banned.
But no, that's actually, I never even thought of that.
I do want to throw in one point about the playing the alts. You know what helps really playing the alts is doing a journal on a character.
Yes,
I know a lot of people don't do it, but to help keep stories straight, it helps me to have journals on my characters. And I've kind of fallen from doing that lately, but I've tried to start getting back into it and writing journals on the, 3 main characters that I work with right now in game.
Yeah. No, that's actually really good. That's one of the ways I always actually learn just any character fairly well is trying to do a journal and have them talk it out, as just alone without any interference, so that I can actually just, kind of create the story as it needs to be done. And usually it's talking about backstory stuff and things that have happened before the current, timeline. But yeah, journals are definitely a good way to keep those characters, and especially alts, separated. One thing I'm gonna jump ahead to this one because it kind of goes into the downside thing and connecting. Jazz, the thing you had put in here is that take pains that make sure your tunes don't know everything about each other.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve for me.
Yeah,
and a lot of people have a negative connotation for people who have a lot of alts or who have multiple accounts. And that's because, and I do as well, when I hear somebody has a bunch of accounts, my little red flag starts going, even though I'm one of those people. but I also take great pains and use dice and other methods to make sure that my characters don't know everything about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to deal with in roleplay when you have somebody who doesn't like what's happening.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding,
yeah, yeah.
ding, ding.
I think I like
So-
Sibby's bell the best.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Dang, 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 dang,
So-
dang, dang.
They don't like what's happening, and so they bring their other character on who obviously knows exactly what just happened, and they start berating the person for what just happened,
Right.
even though they weren't there.
And
And
there's
can't
no way
possibly
those
know
two
what
characters
happened.
would interact with each other probably.
Right. Or you have two people who are supposedly don't know each other, but they know everything about each other enough to know that if one character doesn't like this person, the other character doesn't like them either for exactly
Right.
the same reasons, even though it hasn't been earned on either character.
Right.
And she
Those
did
guys
that in one breath.
heard about it.
Yes, I did
What'd
that
you
in
say,
one breath.
Straffe?
Dang it, man. I said she did that whole line in one breath.
Yeah.
The way I get away from that, Jazz, is, as you've seen, I had Trajan and Trat serve together in Legion
Yeah.
before everything went to pot in Imperial City. And that's why they don't know everything about each other, but they just know about each other from
Yeah.
that time.
I do
They're-
like to have
yeah.
my characters know of each other often, and like there is some connection between them just because it makes it for I if people haven't figured this out about me yet, I enjoy RP that is family oriented.
You enjoy
in the
what?
sense that
Ding, ding,
God
ding,
damn
ding,
it.
ding, 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 ding.
damn it, I'm out of wine. I guess I'll have a little extra tonight just because it's St. Patty's Day.
We love you, Jazz.
Oh,
Yeah.
the spirit of St. Patrick is flowing from us all right now.
It's
Yes.
St. Patty's
Oh
Day.
crap! And I just threw wine on my phone. God bless America.
God bless America indeed.
Good thing it's in an otter case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
We use we used to use what was it, the beetle.
Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle's a DC character actually. It was something beetle.
But anyway, as I was saying, and I don't remember now. What did I say?
You said the
Completely
R
lost
word.
my train. I know that, and I'm
Sorry.
not saying that again.
St. Patty's Day is taking over her brain.
You were talking about alts and them not knowing stuff about each other, and
Right.
we were
That
on
is-
that topic.
Yeah, it's very important because what it does is it creates a hostile environment for the people that you're, dang, almost again, with the people that you are interacting with.
Mhm.
Because if they know that what happens between you and them is then going to punish them on all of your alts, they will
Yes.
either, one, not roleplay with you, and God damn it,
We didn't even have to catch on that one.
they are not going to want to
Maybe you
play
should
with
start
you
taking
anymore.
smaller sips.
No, shut up. No, I've already had a glass of wine. I'm fine.
Get your
Guys.
things ready, Sibbies. Get your
No, I
dings
just mean
ready.
so you don't
Okay,
run out.
I can do this.
But God damn it, I forgot what I was. Hate getting old.
You were saying
don't.
that when that happens, like the person, if they know that they get in trouble on one character, that's going to transfer to every alt that
Yes.
they have.
They're going to stay away from you,
They
or
pull away.
they're going to tell other people to stay away from you, and it's going to affect the way you can build stories. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and
I
that,
know a person like that.
Yeah, and I know people that I love and
Mhm.
adore very much who do this, and it's just, and they don't play anymore. But you know, you can't do that. And if you
Right.
do, you need to understand why people around you are going to pull away from you, because it makes a very uncomfortable, unfun roleplay experience.
unfun what
I-
experience?
God damn it! Shut up.
See, it's not as easy as you think, is it?
No, it isn't.
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding, 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 ding.
That reminds me-
You know what's going to be really funny is listen on the podcast. You know there's probably a few times that we've missed it, and they're going to be like, why didn't nobody call him out on that? Because I have to listen to this
Totally.
stuff after the fact, because I know for a fact I'm going to be doing that. Like, how the hell did I miss that?
You need to send an IOU drink shot.
That's
list.
right. I might have to do a tally after the fact to see how many we missed and who was missed the most.
Mhm. But anyway,
But
so
no,
the
it's a
point
very
is,
valid point.
to avoid that, there are many things you can do to avoid that. One is to make sure that you know your story. Know your story very well.
Yes.
Understand that your characters, while they may know each other, which mine do. And remember that guy that interviewed all of us? I forget what his name was. We all did interviews for him.
Agent Ferguson of the
Mikey.
FBI.
Mikey.
No.
Yeah,
Mikey. Yeah.
Mikey. That was one of the things he was kind of red flagging. He was like, so your characters know each other. And it's like, well, they do, but on a very
Limited basis.
Yeah, like my character Sia and my character Kia, which was totally by accident. They ended up with names that sounded exactly alike.
Well,
Oops.
that's their abbreviated name. So
Yeah,
when you
it's
said
their
it out
abbreviated
loud,
name.
it wasn't the same.
It was
Sure
Kia
they did.
Karis
It was
and
sure they did.
Seal.
Here's
I did
Sia.
not
Here's
mean
Kia. Oh my
Kia.
God, they're so much
Yeah.
alike.
Yeah, it's awful. So they know each other because Kia Karis is the guild leader, and Sia is someone she met as an assassin. So
and she's in the guild, so naturally,
yeah, she's
in
in
that
the
case,
guild,
they have
and
to know
she's-
each other.
yeah, they have to know each other, but they also, she's her healer, and she's done work for her. So there is some crossing as they get to know each other, but she doesn't know everything about her. And that's really important for me. I roll dice to decide if they know something about each other, to keep myself honest. And as you know, I do that for everything for that reason, because I don't want to make that mistake. And back when I first started, I did what Sib did. I kept detailed journals and detailed notes on everything. Somewhere in my pile of papers is a notebook filled with the names of people that Macarena had relations with.
And how many times, no less, I bet.
Yes, and how many times and how they were, and if there were any circumstances that I needed to remember about each person, so that
And
I
for
can keep track
unrelated
of it.
reasons, it's also laminated now.
I will say, oh God.
What? For
I will say I did
posterity.
enjoy how you recycle a nickname from EQ2 and brought it into ESO, having known some of your tunes.
Which one?
Kia.
Oh, yes. Kia in EQ2 was my crazy vampire.
Yeah.
Kia in this game is my guild leader. But obviously their names are very different, but their nicknames are the same.
Yeah. That's kind of like my thing with most of my characters, other than Tarvala, but that was, I actually came up with that before I started doing this. Most of mine have an X in their name somewhere,
Yes.
Or if
And
it's not
if
that,
Nix-
the other one is a Sewell in their last name from
Yeah.
Xana's Sewell Egna. Now,
Right.
all my characters' last name starts with either has an X or has a Sewell in it. It's always one of the
Yes.
two.
And when you took the name Kenix and everybody
Mhm.
called you Nex, I can if Nex ever comes to play this game, that's going to be a funny moment when he meets your character,
Yeah.
because it's similar to his character in EQ.
Yeah.
So
And that was-
that will be very funny.
And that was more because you decided that everyone in that guild was going to have only 3 letters, and having my assassin named Ken wasn't something I was going to let happen.
Right, so it had to be Nex.
Yeah.
That was just because everybody shortens everything anyway.
Yeah.
So
I wish I had said that one out loud when I came up with
yeah.
it.
Well, I was the same way. I didn't even think about their first 3 letters or a
Mhm.
shortened nickname until after I made Sia's profile, and I realized everyone called her Sia, and it was Sial and Kia Karis, and then it was Sial and Sia and Kia, and I was like, oh, Lawsy, how did I do that?
We're also part of Beta Beta Kappa, and we're going to have a drive later on this week. We hope you're going to get here. It's going to be a car wash, and we're going to be in bikinis.
And if you
So,
donate a lot,
me and
you can
Sister
get a date
Sia and
with
Kia.
Frat Sister.
That's right.
And Buffy, don't
And
forget Buffy.
Buffy. Super
Wouldn't it be
awesome. Wouldn't it be Buff?
Be,
For sure, for
Be,
sure.
Be,
It'd
Be.
be Buff.
Sia,
Buff and Bay.
Kia, Bea.
Super.
You guys are not hip.
No.
We're old.
Because
We
you know
can't
why?
have it.
We're not 21.
Shut
Yeah.
it, youngin. Shut it now.
I'm
Yeah.
hip. I'm
Like,
cool.
Bay is like 3 years ago. Come on.
Oh, 3 whole years? Wow.
To be
Oh,
honest,
yeah.
Bay was stupid when it started ever.
Yeah, I can't
So-
believe they tried to add that to like the Oxford Dictionary. I'm like, you're just making my IQ drop by hearing this.
Yeah, this is why no one respects the dictionary anymore. You change it on a whim.
Yeah, they need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
I
why
never
didn't-
understood. After 10 years, I can see including
I'm going to
it
say
into
20. After 20 years, if the word's still used, then you can add it. If somebody
10
remembers
years,
it in 20
A
years.
decade is decent because if the vernacular has lasted for 10 years, it's probably going to stick around at some level.
And if it's lasted for 20, you know for a fact it's sticking around.
Yeah,
that's
why.
True. That's
Righteous.
why.
So we can add tubular and heavy. We can
Tubular
add all the
is in
cool
there.
stuff.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, dude.
Oh, what about righteous?
Righteous.
Jazz, this one's for you. Bitchin'.
You're very funny, ass.
It's funny because she knows it.
And I just want to throw this out real quick. It is Elder Scrolls Spotlight done by Mikey. And if he ever contacts you and you're a role player.
ESO role player.
It's just basically he interviews you. It's
ding, 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 ding.
I did it too. Yep.
Yeah, I did it.
You too, take a shot.
I'm trying to be nice here and
It's all right. I did it too, babe.
No. So if he ever contacts you, it's a legit thing.
It is. He's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
And you can find that over at YouTube RPHQ, and their website also is rphq.org. So I'm just going to give them a shout out.
Yep, they're still putting our stuff up there on their YouTube page as well. Our back catalog. But even it's helping out. We've gotten a few people interested in the show from that, so it's been good. Completely derailing, but still. But yes, all that is very important, and like we were saying too, the connecting with other players on that character, you have to do that, because if you don't, that's a serious downside. If you're not connecting, there's no story, there's no evolution. We all create these characters and go through what we go through so that they're not, hopefully they don't stay that same way. I mean, even in the short time we've all been in ESO, is anyone's character the same they were, a year ago now?
Nope.
Yeah.
I know, Kishmis especially, I've heard stories of your characters from back when you started. He isn't anywhere near the same.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
It's
very important to do that.
I think there's a few tables in the Abbey that had to be disinfected because of
Whoa,
you.
hold on.
What? Just saying.
Hold on.
Or was that Lilel? Yeah.
There's a story here that I'm not getting.
No, this is not the appropriate topic.
What?
No. That kind of...
Hey, it all deals with that dirty R word, so fill us in.
Well, there are lots of places in the guild hall that have to be disinfected too. So.
Listen,
oh man, you guys are.
We
gross.
eat on that. Oh.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's told everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Raj has told everyone, and
yeah,
it's like, ew. I'm like, listen, it's probably been disinfected 3 times.
Right.
Man the fuck up.
Yeah, that's why I have no qualms about saying it to you, because you've been in character oh yeah, that one there, that over there, somehow on top of that bookcase over there.
Levitation spells.
Levitation's a real thing. Yeah.
We're gonna need to ask Nathala about all this.
Yeah, but we've heard, because Kishmis, you and Roger, and Lilel, you guys are top of the food chain now. But the stories we've heard, partly from your characters, because a lot of the people are at that time weren't here.
2016, when me and Lilel and Neth and the rest of the posse were starting to, rise in the ranks of the ordination, it was a real frat party.
Yeah.
I come to the Abbey and have some little kitchen time, do a little talking. I'm like, wow. It's kind of boring. Let's live in this place up.
Yeah, let's create some drama.
Tried to before, but everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be too edgy and just go somewhere else." I'm like, "Come on!"
There was also a series of, I'm just gonna say, really bad, lore Nazis and roleplay Nazis that. Oh, I got it. Roleplay Nazis twice.
Take a shot.
That really kind of started shutting things down on everybody too from having fun. Yep. Hold on.
Sibs, that's a great clip. I forgot all about it. legendary.
That's what my reference was from
the way
earlier.
I feel about how people do their characters now, like you missed a great opportunity to party with your top dog ordinators, like your commander, your high ordinators. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I know we're going a
Oh
little off
fuck!
here.
Wait a minute.
Take a shot.
Yeah,
Ding,
you did
ding,
it.
ding, ding.
Totally missed it. I was too busy drinking
Tonic
myself.
water.
But actually, you are right. As far as tunes growing from where they were to where they are now, Trajan, one of my alts, has PTSD, and he's literally, because Sia keeps trolling the mess out of him, he's slowly being okay with enough to admit it and kind of move past it. He's still got his issues, but it's a lot better than when he started.
Yeah, and if you're overdoing, and I'm not saying no alts. I mean, clearly alts are fine.
Oh,
it's when you literally go into it's almost like alt-aholism, where you have a problem. I mean, where there's a serious things start getting affected by it. Your characters just don't start. They stop evolving because you're so busy coming up with new stuff. You're because let's be honest. For every character we come up with, we try to think of things that. I mean, at least I do. I don't know about everybody, but I imagine most people do this. Like, I have a branching tree of possibilities for Talvala right now. Half of that tree is just going to die off as I go down one branch, but that branch will then blossom into other ones,
Right.
And I don't know which way it was going. I know the ways that I would like for her to go. I know things that I want to happen for her. But when and if that happens depends on the people around me and how I interact with them. And if I'm constantly switching over to a new character and every new character has that whole same branching idea path, that other tree that I'm ignoring and not watering is going to, to use a branching analogy, that tree is going to start to die off and wither. The longer you're not doing that, or if if you could make one or two healthy trees, you've only got, we'll use time as the water, you can only water those two. So as you add more and more trees, the time and the watering of each one of those, the plants are going to get less and less healthy.
It's true.
And
it is important not to have more alts than you can pay attention to. I mean, I had 23 alts, but I'd say only 6 or 7 of them actually had RP, and I was more or less just playing them to learn the class. My roleplay characters, however, I tried to make sure that I developed them on some level, and I usually ended up with only 2 or 3 that I was playing for a year, and then it would switch off sometimes, some of the other ones.
Yeah,
but,
the roleplay that would die off.
Changing, you need to drink.
I am.
The characters.
Tell him our dear.
It's very, 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 very important to have your characters grow and change. And this is probably the biggest thing, at least for me, in dealing with people who are new to developing characters is, and not even new, some people who are very old at this have, like, a friend of mine has a character who was essentially the same age after 10 years as she was when she started.
Right.
It was like,
that was awful.
And then I pointed out that, it's been 8 years. Don't you think she would have moved past 15 by now?
And that's not even counting the fact that time moves so much faster in a game, technically in a game, than it does in the real world. Although there's an episode we really need to do sometimes because that one still that one makes me itch at times.
I do have an example of the evil side of alting, especially when the character refuses to grow.
Yeah, good.
And you get 20 of the same character, just with a different face. And,
or a slightly different background at that, yeah.
Slightly different background. They act the same. They still act like the character but they're a different tune, obviously. And you tried to, kid gloves around that, but at some point you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of goes back to that watering tree analogy. You can't progress past a certain point. You have your original idea, but if there's not any interactions, if you're not, as like Kishmas, everybody in Servants of the Temple, I mean, 95% of them have been lashed at one point or another, and it's kind of a learning experience and a rite of passage for nearly all of them.
Yep.
There's a few that have managed to slip through.
Yeah.
goody
But they
two
get punished
shoes.
in different ways.
Oh, I'm being told that Jazz missed a drink earlier when
Did
I
I?
yeah,
Okay.
when I had to do mine. Apparently, you had said it was a characters.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Like the Truth Bob. He's never been lashed because he's a sissy. Because he's just a giant sissy, and he never goes outside of his No, I'm kidding. He's actually a very good character.
He has been branded, though.
Oh, so I think that counts.
Yeah, my level, Bob.
Les is like, you've been branded too.
Raj gave you a third eye, all right?
Ooh, that sounds
Where at?
Oh my. But yeah, it's without all that connection and all that stuff, there's a point, and you can probably do that. I mean, it depends. Like with where I'm at, 2 characters is the limit. And even that, I mean, I'm not on Kenix all that often because I usually play on Torvala. And the other part is because I also play other video games as well. So I'm not only in ESO. Like, unrelated, I'll go into it a little bit more later. I was actually tried out Shroud of the Avatar the other day for about 2 hours when I was streaming it. And I'll give my rundown because it's coming out in about a week to 10 days, I think, officially coming out. It's been in beta for quite some time, and alpha a long time before that. And it's definitely an old school game. It is seriously old school.
I got the same problem, Kish. I mean, Ashton, sorry.
You're right.
I do play SWGMU every once in a while, and I have 2 characters there, but it's hard to and I have to focus on one, only one there, because SWG is way too big. Like
It is,
class-wise and
definitely.
Stuff.
Well, and especially
yeah.
You've got a Jedi too at that, so you're really hitting the grindstone.
Oh yeah, and you have to grind. You have to be careful. You got to sneak around, and you just got to be mindful. And when you're that invested into one character, it's really hard to try to water another tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see here. Going into ways to avoid that. I think we've handled some of this, but excuse me. Don't make more, obviously, than you can reasonably handle with the time and allowance of your schedule, which we've kind of hit already. Roleplay takes time. Not having enough time to give is fine, but you need to know your limits or it'll suffer. And the other aspect of it is it suffers those around you too, because there's people that might like role-playing with you. I'm catching myself at least.
Take a drink. Insomniac in the chat does bring up a good point. He says, I can't tell what your icon picture looks like.
I've started saying they.
I have this problem where I end up creating tons of RP concepts, even though
What
I
is that?
roleplay like one of them.
What was that? You said roleplay.
She got me. Dang
What's
it.
funny is the first time you said
Congratulations,
it.
you played yourself.
What actually
my
is funny
shot.
is the first sentence is, I have this problem where I end up creating tons of character concepts. And you actually added it in there.
Well, it's in the second line of the comment.
second
I
line.
know. Yeah, but you said it twice, so that's what's so great.
Let me go get a second shot, you troll face.
But yes, that is a
The
good
thing
character.
about creating different characters, you never know what you want to play in a game until you actually are in the game. You have to actually start playing. And I've done this. I've started playing a character, been like, yeah, I really don't like that character, and just put him out, kind of like Raj did. Or I would say Raj Kishmas. I'm
Either
being very
one's
careful.
fine.
I'm being
Either
very
one's fine.
careful.
I think he went out to get
No,
some
I'm
more.
the same way. I've had lots of characters that don't ever make it
Yeah.
to actual existence because I make them, I start playing them, I'm like, I can't do this. And I get rid of them and I try again. And I'll have the same race, the same class, but it just takes trying different things to make it work.
Yeah. It's oh, I mean, and how many of those, things in real life and around the world, that you come up with a concept, you peach the concept. And it's once
Have another drink, baby.
I'm going to probably against my free will at this point. But you pitch that stuff and it sounds good on paper, but when you put it into practice, you're like, meh.
Yeah, that's the problem with me
Meh.
playing Khajiit. I want to, and I may eventually roll one to do so with, but so far everyone that I've made, even though they look cool and I've tried to play them,
You've not gotten in
do
touch
it.
with the personality of it or something.
Yeah, it's just, and because almost always I get accosted early on.
Khajiit wants to put on costume and have you over. Yes.
Yeah.
Come to my convention. I will pull on your tail.
Well, right now I have 9 alts and I only play 3 of them.
Yeah.
So.
And see, I can't expand. I have 7 right now, and I can't expand again until I can buy extra slots because I have to go by prime numbers. So.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you are such a nerd.
My god.
Nerd.
Why?
I don't like prime numbers.
I love
You're
prime
like the
numbers.
opposite of everyone else. Oh.
I have to go by prime numbers. Everything's by prime numbers. Everything I do is by prime numbers. I do it without even thinking.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Wait till I turn 22 then, because I won't be. Wait, no. 21
You're not. Yeah, 23.
Never mind.
21 is 3 times, so it can count, but only by numerology.
Numerology. Now we're getting into real science.
Numbers are my thing. I have
Everything
a real
is 11.
aspect-
You want me to talk about like thermodynamics and calculus? I can do that for you.
Wasn't that horrible shit movie that Jim Carrey did, 21? And then he got all obsessed with the number.
23.
Oh, it was
It was
23.
23.
Okay.
23 is the
Okay.
prime number.
That's when he started to lose his
23rd
goddamn
minute.
mind.
Yeah. I think he was well on his way before then, but yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Man, Jim Carrey just brought the show to a crashing halt. Fuck
Yeah.
you, Jim Carrey.
As far as
He's
multiple,
just weird.
Rest in peace, early 90s Jim
Yeah,
Carrey.
you haven't done anything good since The Majestic. That was a good movie,
Dang it,
though.
man.
I actually liked that movie. It was pretty good.
Unpopular opinion, Yes Man was a good movie.
Yes, man. It was okay. It was passable.
back to the topic.
Right.
Yeah, anyway.
Please, for the love of God, anything. The rest of what Insomniac said after the part where they made Sibh'Bae drink, they say they usually create them from a character sheet, and then those characters, are here to stay, and then they have the characters, and they just can't bring themselves to delete.
Yeah.
Especially ones they fully leveled, which that's rough.
I
Deleting a
can't
fully leveled
delete,
character,
yeah. Nope.
even if the concept of what you I almost did it, but I caught myself that time. The concept of what you had for them doesn't pan out if you've already got them to 50 or whatever the max cap is for the game that you're in.
And see,
Ooh, that's rough.
I've leveled one of my characters through horses, and they're only 23, but I've maxed out their horse and everything, that whole slew.
Yeah,
I just
60,
can't bring
60,
myself
and 60.
Yeah, I just can't bring myself. So I'll probably just save up and get a race name character whole thing and just change him out at that point, because I don't see ever
Can you
playing
change
her.
the class on that? I don't think you can. Can you?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
You're stuck with the
it's
class.
just name and race.
That's the problem. I may end up just
That's
deleting
racist.
her altogether because I can't change her class, and I've already got a Templar, and I don't want another one. So
Well, the thing is, there's only 5 total in ESO, so after 5, you're pretty much always repeating it. But there are just so many different ways at least in that game, for each class, there's multiple. You could still make one as a tank and one's DPS or one's healing. So
I've got a Templar. I'm going to
that.
make her into DPS and kind of sub-tank, second tank, and then I'll keep my current one as a healer. So I'll be able to probably get away with it. She's Redguard, and I haven't found any roleplay for her, so I'm not really sure. She just kind of sits there.
Ash
I don't really
Kishmas
do
is
anything
old
with her.
friends. He'll find you some.
I do feel your pain about alts that you like the concept of, but you don't have time to develop.
Yeah, I have no time.
Back in EQ2, and I refused to delete him because I loved it, even though I didn't play him that much. I had an ogre that defected to Kinos, and he became a Templar. He was like the good guy healer. He was this giant ogre. And you thought he was the grumpest guy ever. And he would walk up to you and be like, "Hey, you need a heal?" You kind of fail. They're like, you're looking at this horrible ogre. You're like, "Oh my god, what did you say to me?" He was fun.
Have you seen the light in the
awesome.
way?
Exactly. He was a servant of the Prime Healer, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was like with Xanis. He was a dark elf monk. and a good
Yeah,
guy.
there you go.
So, those counter characters, they can be done well or they can be done horribly cheesy. And I'm sure there's some people that loved the way we played them, and there's others that are like, that's so dumb. You're breaking my immersion.
Everybody loved Gormal, so I could do no
But
wrong.
he was
in
a
that
real
troll.
troll.
He was a real troll. He was a great.
He was
troll.
a very real troll.
He was the
yes.
trolliest troll that ever trolled a trolly troll.
He's also a venture capitalist nowadays, but he's doing all right.
He is a venture capitalist. He is definitely going out there.
I think we
yeah.
put a lot of ourselves into each of those tunes, like different aspects.
Different
of ourselves.
aspects, yes.
Yes.
Years ago. But yeah, it's fun to explore that different side of you, I think, and that's what the lure is.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly what I'm doing anyways. I'm experimenting with other aspects of my personality that I want to see what will happen when I do X, Y, and Z. So I have characters that are made cookie cutter kind of for that, and then they will have developed past that. But I have two characters, one of which I've started playing with Trithalis's.
She's a lot of fun.
She's very bouncy and happy, which is not my typical character. She's very sweet and she's very innocent. Also not one of my characters that I typically
I think she's
play.
great, by the way.
Yes. And she's a lot of fun. And given if I'm in the right mood, I think she's a lot of fun to play. So I've been playing her now and then with Trithalis, and I have enjoyed it. But she doesn't have a whole lot of roleplay, although it does seem to be growing. So we'll see what happens with her.
It definitely makes Trath not feel alone in his haughtiness.
Yes.
It's like, oh, my cousin, she speaks my language.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, and that is part of when you've got all those alts, you can, and it is just every one of the characters, they all have some aspect of it. I know we say these, you really shouldn't, but when we say that, you shouldn't play yourself. You shouldn't be yourself as the entire character just in this mythical world. It's like with any writing. If there's aspects of character, almost every character a writer creates. They only know that because somewhere inside them, they're aware of that, the way that mind would have to think if they kept going down that path. That has to be in them some way. So the serious, dark, stuff that Kenix does, and, that's in there. But also, that's one of the things I've loved about Tarvala. Like last night, they were trying to take their mind off of something stupid Roger did, because they were super worried. CO and
all the name of progress.
You're a progress. But CO and Dravis were down there, and they were talking about if it doesn't get taken care of, somebody's going to have to step up into the role if the commander does it and hold the war together until he gets taken care of and fixed. And that was just kind of bumming them all out, because they're like, well, we all want to be promoted, but not like this. This is not how any of us wants to get anywhere. But then they kind of moved on to other topics, and with Tarvala, she can be a little silly, and they had both said that they are able to play the lute and musical instruments, which is something I can't do. One of my other characters can, but with Tarvala, I was like, nope, she can't play. She's got no musical talent whatsoever. Which you guys heard me singing earlier. Clearly, it's nothing like me. I am very obviously talented and musically inclined. Just a little bit pitchy dog. But so she was, she was like, oh, I tried, and she was made to try it. But she's like, well, can you do this? And she's like, she stuck her tongue out at them and then did that little taco thing, Like, well, what about that? Can you do that? And they're like, first off, weird. Second off, no. And she's like, okay, well, what about this one? And she pulled showed her stomach off, and then she did the belly roll wave that people can do. Like I can do that. And they just stared at her, and I think it was Austere when he came by. He was there by that point. He was like, I'll try it, and he just kind of like blit, 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 blit. But it's goofy stuff like that, And not every opportunity, obviously, is going to be that way for your character. But if you're constantly switching to another alt because you have a problem, you miss moments like that. Like, you'll skip out on roleplay like that because...
Take a shot, bro. Take a shot.
Because you're off trying to cultivate something somewhere else that might be more meaningful quote unquote. But little moments like that are really, really what help make and define a character and their relationships, because with, Dravis and Austere and Seal before he had to go, a moment like that, that's something those characters, it's silly, it's kind of goofy, but it's a real moment. I mean, who hasn't had those idiotic butt-ass stupid conversations with their friends of like, who can out weird someone else,
Especially a common occurrence with my coworkers.
Exactly. But you remember that stuff. It's idiotic, it's stupid, it really serves almost no point, but it's realistic, and it's something that, you can latch onto, and it helps evolve the character. Yes, and other moments like that where Travis was starting to tease her back and waved his hands in the air like, "Oh, look at me, I'm Tarvala," and she's like, "I don't do that." So it's it's like, I'm not doing anything like that. Well, I mean, I'm doing it right now because I'm mocking you for making me, but that still doesn't count. I'm not weird like that. But, she, for a character that used to be made fun of and was always teased, being teased and teasing back in a way that wasn't meant to injure and harm, that means a lot to a character, especially when they're still, they're young like she is, and they're still learning, they're still evolving as a person and an individual. So it's things like that. If I had been off on, another one of my 15 alts or something, if I did that, I would have missed out on that moment, because I would have been like, well, there's not much going on here. I'll just, I'll bail because the thing with Roger's done.
I have to say, I think that's true. I think I had to learn that myself, was sometimes sticking it out through the rough moments in a character is incredibly growing. And it's a lot of fun to watch that character go through those things. But if you have a lot of characters and you're an alt-aholic, you're very tempted to just log out and not log in for a while because it's uncomfortable. Right. And sometimes uncomfortable is important, and I have learned that actually, because one of the things that my therapist told me about roleplay, oh, God damn it.
Take a shot, Jazz. Take a shot.
One of the things that my therapist told me
so I don't make mistakes
about it was that sometimes things come up in roleplay to help. God damn it!
Take another shot, Jazzy. You're on a roll.
Should not be talking.
I was getting pretty good at it.
It was going to be a quiet show.
While you're drinking, I will agree to your point, Jazz. When I played Ringots back in EQ2, there were times that he got into the crap show for sure, and I stuck it out, and he grew from it, which was really nice to see. You could change your character up a little bit because you stuck it through the rough times.
Yeah, because you could have just logged him and like, well, this is a little rough. We'll go ahead and let things cool off, and I'll just log it on another character.
Yeah.
Instead of sticking through it and taking, and I'm not saying going on an alt is a good way of getting out of consequences, but it can be.
Yeah, it can, and I think it's often used that way.
And really sometimes that, if you've got that, that shiny, clean little pebble sticking off over there compared to this one that's currently grimy and not been washed off, it's an easy thing to do. Nobody, even in that thing that we like to do.
That thing we like to do.
Easy way to avoid it besides just saying play pretend.
Yeah.
Someone's going to listen to this and not know the rules, and they're going to think we're being completely dirty.
Right, yeah. Anybody jumping in here in the middle, it's a drinking game. Anytime we say the first two letters of the show or the abbreviation that means, look at that. We have to take a drink. So
I know Insomniac, they keep putting it in there, and I know one of us is going to read it, and it's going to be like, they're baiting us.
She already got me twice. Dang.
I know.
Yeah, they got you. They got
Freaking
you twice
Insomniac.
on that. Yeah. Shit. Well, I mean, what else are they going to do? Sleep? I mean, it says it in the name. They're not sleeping tonight.
No kidding.
But no, go back to your point, Jez. You were telling your therapist about that thing that you do, pretending.
Yes, and he was okay with it. He said that it was a way for me to work out because I'm too drunk to care. God damn it! I've just reached the point where I'm just really relaxed. So,
what was that about you out drinking us?
No, I can still I can stay in this.
Yeah, you've been drinking wine.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them more do. for every time I've had to sip.
Cheap date achievement unlocked. How you doing, Jim?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna. By the way,
That
Jess,
is awesome.
completely unrelated. I'm gonna need you to text me Jay's number and tell him it's on tonight. He's good to go.
Green light, Jack.
Anyway,
Green light, Jason. Green light.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. God damn it!
Your therapy was a good way to subconsciously work your way through our real life issues.
My way
To
through
quote
various
Arabella.
issues.
Yeah.
And it's a nice way where things crop up in scenes and
Oh, yeah?
so
Make believe in our make believe world. We'll go with that.
world that happen in real life, and you can alter the way that you would handle it in your head the next time it comes up because of what happened within your story.
Yeah, because you're putting those positions. That makes sense, actually.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
And he
And
says it's
unlike
actually, it's really healthy, and I'm just going to take a drink because I have to use it because there's no other word. Role play. In therapy,
Now
They
she's
make
just
you
saying
do
it
this.
to drink.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
like, I'm drinking now, bitches.
Bring me the bottle, kids.
in therapy, they have you do this on purpose with your therapist
Right.
or with a group if you're in a therapy group. And so he's like, it's actually very healthy because it's forcing you in a way to deal with issues you may not want to deal with. And alting is not necessarily healthy because you're running away from what you need to do. Now, one of the things I've noticed is that with some people, not everybody, but with some people, all their characters are exactly the same.
Yes, I mentioned that, and it drives me up the wall.
And most of
All their characters, they have different hair, they're different race, they look different, but
but
they're
the
all exactly the
personalities
same.
might, and the stories in the backgrounds might change. The
Right.
stories
But
in the
the
backgrounds might
person
change, but the
itself-
personality remains the same.
All of them are exactly the same personality. Or like with some people, they all have big boobs and they're short and they have a little waist and they have, but all
I'm
of them are
failing
like
to
that.
see the-
Every single, yeah, I know
Failing to
you
see
would.
the downside. I don't understand. What's the problem?
So everybody in some way puts something into all of their characters. For some people, it's their boobs or how they look or how they act. Everybody does that because they desperately need work it out. There's something about them that they need to work out.
Okay, so here's going with that. So the that kind of player
Pretend to play.
with all those alts, okay, so the ones that have the looks change, some of the backstory changes, but the personality is 90% the same.
Yes.
Do you think they have all those alts just so that when they do something that is disagreeable or may get them in trouble, they can just alt and then
My
not have
personal
to get and it basically it's a way of getting out of the consequences of roleplay.
I would agree with that myself. That's how I see it. I think with a lot of
And not
people,
with
that's
everybody,
exactly
of
what
course.
they're
We
doing.
only speak
No,
in generalities
but-
here for anybody that's like, that's not what I
Right.
do. We're not talking about
Right.
you. If you have
I
to
think
say
that
that's
if
not
you
what I do,
have-
we don't mean you.
I think if you have the same personality in all of your, and you may not realize that all your characters are the same. Maybe you should ask some of your friends. You know that old saying that says there's a hoe in every group. If you don't see one, it's probably you.
Wait a minute. I don't know any hoes.
Yeah. So
Damn it.
in my sense,
How you doing, Ashton?
and I will say, and I'm not ashamed of this, I had multiple personalities growing up. And so when I finally got rid of them and they were integrated into my personality through therapy, most of them.
Man, you got some serious issues there, Sybil.
I do. So then I started playing in this game with these things that I do. Holy
pretend
crap,
theater.
that's hard. In this theater that we do. My therapist was actually glad because he had told me that he could tell that I missed them. And it was really hard for me to go from a crowd in your head to nobody can be very lonely and can be very isolating. And that was one of his concerns. So when I started to live real life, he was worried that I would be too lonely and not be able to do this. So having alts for me is more about feeling at home, which is probably why I always laugh because people are like, you do that so well. How do you play all these characters so differently?
I'm crazy.
I have years of experience
Crazy.
because I'm crazy as a loon. And I don't want to tell this to people because that scares them. But, I have lots of
that's part of the
practice.
mental health problem that
Yeah.
it's not in everyone. That's a problem in America. Sorry, bud. That's a problem with the world. The world.
It is.
When
a
you've
problem
got places
everywhere.
that still have sanitariums, it's a world problem.
It's a
Here's a
world
hint.
problem.
Here's a hint, Jimmy. She might be a little nuts, but the good
Yeah.
kind of nuts.
And I have harnessed that nuts and I have turned it into a creative outlet. So all of my characters are a little different, and people have a hard time telling that it's me when you can't have the little number beside my name.
Yeah.
And I have 23 characters in other games. I had 6 in Rift. I had 20 in AOC.
Good Lord, woman.
You're literally Professor X from that movie Split. I mean, you're
Yeah.
just
Kidding.
right
But
about there.
I was
When do you
just
turn into the
acting
giant
out.
monster and climb on walls with your fingertips?
I've done that.
Spoiler
That's
alert.
what Miri did, remember? That's what Miri used to do. Totally her. Now I'm drinking without anything saying wrong. Good Lord. I just took a drink for no reason whatsoever. That's
Hey,
not-
you're parched and you're talking a lot.
Yeah. So
I can't
but
click
that's-
on that.
when I went to gaming, I switched to that, and I enjoy being able to feel at home with my characters. Although I have to admit that having everyone know who my characters are now, while it was really hard initially and I hated it, now I kind of like it because it's forced me to be more honest about what I'm doing, and I focus more on one character.
Yeah, except for the fact that now Kishmas has let you know you can have 2 accounts.
Yeah, now I can have 2 accounts. I'm like going,
But see, I already planned to do that. If you remember, Jazz, we had to
Yes.
talk about developing an
Mhm.
roleplay. We don't. I'm gonna get a shot.
Get in there, get your sub.
Come get some!
I'm really being quiet because I'm like, I don't want to have to. I don't want to.
Oh, that was not the water cup. That was definitely not the water cup.
as he chokes.
I was expecting water, and when you get a whiskey sour, that's
Like I said, chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear.
Ratchet, you
Mhm.
wretched pack of bastards, you.
Who's taking advantage of who tonight, Ashen?
Oh, dang.
Oh my!
Oh,
He told
my,
me earlier
indeed.
this week that he's
Spoiler
like,
alert! I'm already
"You're gonna
not
get
wearing
drunk."
pants.
Oh my gosh. Told me earlier this week he's going to get me drunk on the show and take advantage of him. I was like, uh-huh.
I think at this point it's probably it's mutually assured destruction.
That's why I've been quiet. I've been quiet.
Yes.
Now, due
I'm
to
winning this
my
game. I'm winning this game.
drinking too much, I'm going to take a bit of an AFK, which I don't normally do,
Go ahead.
and let you
Don't
all
break the
talk.
seal. Don't break the seal.
I will be right back.
All right. So
What she
yeah,
isn't telling us is she's getting a new bottle of wine.
that's right. Our box. I like to think of it as a box.
Or the box.
But no, and like she was saying, that's actually a kind of a side of it, and it's something we've said before. A lot of people that play pretend. See, I'm getting better at this.
Very clever, sir.
In the games and MMOs and stuff like. Excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you.
Ooh, I don't know what that was. Choking on my spittle. We all know it. A lot of the people that we play with, a lot of them already have some sort of mental something or other, or anxiety, or it's something like
Right.
that. A lot of nerds and computer people and creative people in general have like insane weird quirks, I mean, Steve Jobs, who, the reason he always wore the same thing every day was because it's, to a lot of people on his level of intelligence, just taking out the process of thought of what to wear and what you look like every day, it releases something that so they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right.
It's really weird and really quirky, but that worked for them. And a lot of the people that we play with, they have those weird kind of things. And we've kind of talked about it before, off and on. I think we did an episode on it once, but I can't remember at this point because telemordieu. But so, with a lot of alts, like how it helped Jazz, that's one way. But there's also, that's good for her. But also it works in the other direction as well for some people because they're using that it almost stifles them. They're burying themselves under this just avalanche of ideas and characters because maybe their quirky little thing and that's wrong with them is that they have a hard time making decisions. I mean, we all know these people in life that they can't, when they try to make a choice, they hem and they haw and they just don't make one. You know, the not to choose is to choose. Not choosing to do something is doing something. You may not see it at the time, but your inability to hold down and do a thing is doing a thing. It's doing nothing, which is still doing something. You know, it's if you hem and haw over whether to pull some off a railroad track, which you could easily do when there's a train coming, because you're like, well, I mean, maybe they didn't want to be pulled off. What if they do? What if they tripped? What if their leg's stuck? What if I don't get out in time myself?
What if I trip? Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You know, you've made a choice by not choosing.
I love those
you made
sound
that
effects.
choice. Was that good?
That was
a good train of sound effect.
And by not making that particular choice, you get your dark side points.
That's right. Yeah, you get what was it? Renegade. You get some renegade points for that.
Renegade.
No Paragon points for you.
I have returned.
Welcome
back.
Welcome back, Jazz. It's good to
Welcome
have you here.
Leaving people on the
stand up.
railroad tracks.
When you stand up, everything changes. Apparently, I should not drink wine because
sitting down.
I can drink what's called Patron just fine. This is not Patron. I'm really feeling interesting.
Some alcohols go to your head in much different ways.
Holy crap! Wine definitely does.
Mm-hmm. That's one of them. Champagne gives me a raging fucking headache the next day. I love that stuff, but
I'm gonna have to drink lots and lots of water because I'm on my third cup of wine.
Better start drinking water now, darling.
I will.
So what we were saying, Jazz, and
You will eventually.
Your take on this too. It was off of what you had said. It's what you did was helpful. The opposite effect of that is people that can't make a choice, and that is their choice. They have so many characters that because they can't lock themselves down in a choice, they're making a choice. You know,
yes.
It's that kind of thing.
Lack of a choice is a choice,
and that is, you know, whereas what you have done, your therapist said has helped you with all the different characters. With other people, the reason they may have all those characters is because they can't choose.
Right.
Because they're
hiding.
Yeah, they're hiding.
And that was one of the things that he told me was that if it starts to take the place of real life, then it is no longer healthy. And that is something that I have kind of taken to heart, is that as long as role play does not take the place of my life, I'm fine. Oh, God damn it. That was like 3 drinks. I'm just going to take one big one.
God, I love you, Jazz.
Gate unlocked.
Wow. See, and really, when we went into this, I was expecting me to really have the hard time with it because I do a lot of the talking.
I don't drink much anymore, and I certainly don't drink wine very much ever. So
except for you have your glass. I know that.
Yeah,
and
I have my glass of wine, and
you're doing half a week's worth in 2 hours. It's a 2-hour show. You know that, right?
I'm on my 3rd cup right now.
God bless you, because nobody else is gonna at this point.
The truth,
I'm
Bob.
also really, really warm. I'm going to be taking my shirt off here. There we go.
Bob,
I wear 2 shirts. What? Don't get excited.
Damn it.
We're going streaking.
Not even close.
Everybody in the bar. All right. Everybody take off your pants and your shirts. We're going outside.
I have to do this. Okay, the truth, Bob, in the chat said,
Go ahead.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite show on the Citadel.
Yes! The truth, Bob, you're legendary.
Good job,
He
sir. I'd take a drink just for you, my friend.
I'm going to just dump a little out.
Oh, good luck. No, this is carpeted area, not the concrete area. Don't be dumping stuff out.
Another bottle over here. I'll just dump it into that.
And one for my homies.
Dokey.
One for my homies. But yeah, so the not to choose is to choose. I mean, that's honestly, not to get surreal with it, but it's something in life itself. If you're hemming and hawing on stuff, man, sometimes if you're gonna fail at something, fail because you made a choice. Don't fail because you chose not to do anything.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
whether
worse.
it's writing something, whether it's, you know, it's an investment, whether it's something like that, don't hem and haw and be like, oh, well, the clock ran out. Because you know what? That was still your choice, but you get to pretend that, oh, well, that was just a thing. And it's past now. No, you can't do that kind of stuff. You really can't, because it hurts. And just like it does in your gaming that we do here, if you're not making a choice, you know, that's part of the deal with these characters and how we play them, is they can make choices, and really roleplay has consequences. It's not a it's not a life consequence, though. This isn't you getting, you know, booted out of your house or having your just for a random thing off the top of my head that didn't happen to somebody we know, your car repossessed when you're at IHOP. You know?
Oh gosh. Ouch.
I have no sympathy for anybody. Sorry. You should have paid your bills. Don't get a car that you can't afford. It's not hard.
Common sense.
But you know, that you just buckle down and do something. You know, if your characters, you know, if they're gonna get Kishmas, if they're gonna get the lashing, take the fucking lashing.
Exactly.
You know, you can if you think, you know, sometimes it might happen where you know, I've gotten into it with you know, Lil L and people around, you know, where I thought like something it wasn't what it was perceived to be. That's one thing. Like if it's a misunderstanding. Yeah. But if your character does something and you know it, and let's be honest, you know at the time you're doing it, it's a possibility this could be drama. And if you're in a place where that drama could be 10 lashes to the back.
Or a dirty sweat sock in the mouth.
Or
that was that story.
That was a little bit different, though. He just did that because he was just being a jerk.
That's our Kishmas.
That's our Raj.
It's because he's 21.
That's right. But, you know, just you do that because in pretend world, while the consequences are for the character, they're not long lasting. They really do blow over in, you know, almost no time, literally no time at all. Yeah. You know, and
the biggest drama that happens is when people do something illegal and don't take the fall for it. Like, but wait, I'm going to escape and never see you guys again. And, you know, sometimes that will happen. Like, okay, we'll do that. Then they come back the next day.
like nothing happened.
Yeah, we've totally experienced that in Silver Circle more than 1,000 times.
There was, I know, in someone in Servants, their character, they were given time and 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 time again the ability to stop being butt stupid. But the character continued and the player continued to be butt stupid to the point where the people at the top, and Kishmas, you probably know who I'm meaning. I completely and utterly understood it. In fact, I think you guys went on longer than I would have. I think I'd have been pitching long before that this person in character just you can't.
I've been very adamant about consequences for characters.
Yes,
it gets to the point where it makes me not want to be a part of,
because you're tired
a guild that allows that, because I'm tired of dealing with it.
Right, because especially someone like you or a guild leader, you know, someone that's in command or officership, if we're going to do that kind of thing. Someone that's an officer in a guild, you know, you're constantly stuck having to deal with the same person over and over. So eventually that consequence has to be that the character, you know, obviously you don't have the authority or the power to kill the player or to kill the character, because you just don't, and you know they may not allow it. So,
if that kind of thing happens, like if their character does something that would warrant a sense of death, we'll be like, okay, let's go, let them go into exile, because it's not our place to, you know, force him to kill off this character.
Right. Or as
I gotta say,
Arthella in chat says, sometimes shit just gets old.
Well, yeah.
Well said.
I mean, in the Silver Circle, we dealt with this a lot. We made no secret of the fact we were a very hardcore guild, and we let people know, you break the rules, there are consequences, and you will be killed or banned if you do X, Y, and Z. And it was in our rules when you joined. You had to read, like we had, I swear, a book of shit you had to read. So that people would know ahead of time Yeah, it was. There's a lot of stuff to read because we told people when you join, you say that you've read it. So you better make sure that you know that because they'll like, well, I didn't actually read it. So not my problem. And I would tell them that. I would say, that is not my problem.
It's like not knowing a law when you're licensed to drive a car. Not my problem, says the cop.
No, and that's the thing is I was like, one of the things it said in the very first thing you read, even if, so that people would usually read like the first post. One of the first posts said, if you do not read the rules and your character breaks the rules, your character is still responsible for those rules, even if the player never read them.
Ooh, I like that. I really do like that.
That was
Kishmas right now at the forums is like tap, 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 tap. You might want to that's actually not a bad one to add.
We really had a problem with this. We had people who would join us who said that they read the rules, who said that they understand the way that we did things, and then they would turn around and say, well, my character did X, Y, and Z. Okay, so they tried to kill the matron, but that's okay because my character was sorry. No. See, that's the matron, and now she's going to eat your face.
Yeah.
Sorry makes everything better. Come on.
We had some people who explained that their character can't be killed, and they would really appreciate us going along with it and not having to retcon the whole RP because it was a lot of fun. And we were like, okay, fine. So we beat the crap out of him. We left him on the steps of the Overlord's
Rin wasn't
mage
sorry.
tower.
Rin was never sorry to take out the matron.
But I mean, we had to do that with a couple people where they just basically almost died. They were beaten within an inch of their life and somewhere to be found by healers.
You actually took the consequences when you did it. That's the difference. So
Stray tried to kill the matron and her mate and ended up a slave for the next 8 years of roleplay. So you gotta say, oh god damn it.
That's the best part.
God damn it. So yes. So it was. I always had even before I really knew Rangat's player, I had a great deal of respect for him because he rolled with the punches always. He never tried. And I say this to people who may be listening, are like, "Wow, you're a hard ass." We ran a guild that made no excuses for the fact that we were hardcore and we played for keeps. And that this was a monsters and men roleplay where the people that ran this guild were monsters. They were werewolves, vampires, and demons.
Halflings. Oh, I was going to go somewhere else with that, but okay.
And other types of things. So as long as you could make up a character that fit within the lore even loosely, because EQ allowed for people to come from other worlds.
It wasn't nearly as tight as some of the ESO is, but of course
ESO roleplay is even then there's
what?
wiggle room here. God damn it, there's wiggle room here. Shut up. I am not used to not including this word in my words.
Your words are slurring, darling.
Your words. All right, well, I'm gonna help you and stop you from talking for a minute.
Probably a good idea. God damn it.
Yeah, we're getting towards the end, so we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up before Jazz is basically just sleeping at her computer, which I absolutely love because I really thought I would be the one that had a hard time with tonight. God help you, Jazz. Also, ibuprofen and lots of water.
I'm going to drink lots of water so that I don't have to worry about ibuprofen.
Yeah. But no, I think, I mean, overall, like we said, with alting, it can be a really good and fun thing, but you've got it. You really, you have to know your limits. Stick to a fucking idea for one. Don't keep coming up with new stuff. Sometimes you just have to, maybe you could integrate that into your current character. And if you can't, hold on to it. Maybe you'll find a reason to do it later, or you'll have time later on. There's no lack of waiting.
If you can't integrate that into your current character, find a character you can.
Right.
Yes.
Eventually you will get to a character that you want to stick with, that you like the story that you've built for that character, and you will want to play that character. It just takes time, like everything else. You got to put the work in. You can't just walk in and be like,
yes,
this is my character, this is how I'm going to do it.
You can't ask people to absolutely respect whatever you've decided your character is. You have to earn that respect. Vaka never said, I'm awesome, you must fear me. She never said that, ever. She never said that. She said, call me Vaka. You don't have to call me matron.
She didn't have to. She was a scary woman.
Yeah.
It was
But
like
I
with...
played her in a way that made her scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing that Kishmas, you with Roger, Strafei, you with Rengotz. You guys both, your characters they had and have that about them. They have the air about them that you've earned the respect of the people that play around you, and anybody that comes into contact with them now at this point, it's just an automatic and obviously assumed thing, because so many people around you, for them to try to go against it just makes them look like an asshole.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And you can't do that, because it's like trying to go, it's like if we all went to Guild Wars 2 right now, where I know I assume they probably still have the noble family kind of thing, where that leadership ring that, you know, is supposed to run whatever the hell the city was. I don't remember because I'm drunk. It'd be like if you went there.
You're what?
Drunk. If you went there and you're like, you know what? I'm new here. I'm also one of you, and I'm on the council.
Yeah, you can't just decide that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work like that.
How can I be on the council without the rank of master?
That's right. They never let me do anything. God.
It's outrageous. It's egregious. I'm Darth Issues the first.
Sand.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think if somebody walked in and did that at the servants, I'm on the council, how do you think they would react to them?
What council?
Prove it.
You mean like if somebody came and said, I'm from Vivek City and I am archcanon under
That's
Vivek?
That's automatic. Oh, ignore.
Yeah.
Because then you know that they're going to continually do this.
Right.
You know that they're going to keep trying to cause a problem purposefully. Right. There are people that do that out there just to piss,
and
us
see, I
off.
think you guys, and I think you would allow, like, if I had come to you right now with a story idea, we're like, okay, so an archcanon's going to come here, and they're going to assign, like as like a special mission or something. Depending on what it was, you may actually do it, but because I'm not going to be like, and also, we're going to level this whole place and turn it into a parking lot while you're gone. You might at least think, right? You're not, because I'm also part of the guild. But again, I also wouldn't do that because I don't want to. But when it's just some random person you don't know because it's an alt, you can't get away with that. There's certain things you can do with sudden alts or temporary alts that are good for story purposes that you just can't do all the time. If you've got permission from your guild to be a certain way, like I did with the Watcher, everybody kind of knew what was going on. It built up slowly. And by the time he was, it was one bad guy fighting 12 people at once, it was accepted. Yes. And yes, I understand it's a little godmighty, but it was also supposed to be that way. It was like fighting a raid boss.
We created him to be a raid boss. We created him to be badass. He was supposed to be complicated.
I had forgotten about this. Yudfi in the chat says, I remember one time a character came up to Xanis and emoted biting him and turning him, and I just went nope and walked off. I forgot all about that. Yeah, somebody actually came up to my character, established character as a vampire, is like, I beat you and now you're a vampire. It's like, nope, no, I'm not.
Nope.
You're an idiot. Oh,
I had somebody try to do that to
Xanis grabs teeth and
Mako
breaks them off like a wishbone.
Yeah,
I can't do that either, but it would be funny.
Not going to happen. Yeah. I tried to be nice when people did that because I ran a guild and I really wanted to be nice. But yeah, that kind of behavior was never tolerated very well.
Yes, exactly. But all right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I don't mind that we went a little long on this one because last episode sucked that we had to cut it so short due to technical errors on Discord.
Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Patty's Day,
Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. So I'm going to do the rest of the show like this because why the feck not, all right? So I'm going to cue up the music and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, every Saturday, RPMMORadio.
Thank you, everybody.
Jesus Christ on a cracker. Holy shit, I can't say nothing right. Twitch.tv/RPMMORadio. Good Lord Almighty. I don't know what I'm even talking about. A boot. So, I want to thank everybody. Appreciate you. Be sure to check us out after the fact. If you want to listen to the show, visit us at RPMMORadio.com. Add a /Discord on there if you want to join our Discord channel. We appreciate every single one of you. Once again, thank you to all of our donors and our subscribers. Remember to like our YouTube or our Twitch page, and you can also subscribe now because we're real people. Not like you feckin' halflings who are just half people. So with that, everybody, I want to remind you to tune in next time when we'll go over halflings and how it is they could not possibly be aware that they come in pints. Next time on RPMMO Radio. Good night, everybody. The thoughts and opinions of RPMMO Radio and her crew are just that and should not be taken as the gospel truth. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music. That's right, I'm gonna dance now. Do the dance. Oh, feeling sexy. Oh, look at that, jiggling around. Oh, good lord, I look good.